Today we've got a reading for you about somebody who is speaking out some unpopular opinion or truth. And even though expecting there to be a little bit of a brawl or a disagreement at the least, they're going to say it anyways. I know it's not what you think. I know it's not what you would agree with, but I'm just going to say the truth and we'll see what happens. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Hello, Key Controller. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. Let's get a little bit more from the Poe Tarot. What else do we have? Hey, Famous Seamus. How are you doing? Oh, that's so interesting. Notice we have swans in the Five of Wands. This is the Prisma Visions Tarot, by the way. Totally different tarot deck. We have another swan and some sort of travel, right? And this is the Six of Swords. This was the King of Swords from the first tarot deck. So there could be heavy on the Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra energy, but also the truth is coming out. So it makes sense that we would see a little bit more from that. We've got the Lovers as well. On the Six of Swords, it says, "We called it the River of Silence, for there seemed to be a hushing influence in its flow." So perhaps after saying something, we have a hasty departure. You know, I made a decision, but it's okay. I did it because I felt like it was the right thing to do. And so all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life, and my bride. Could be that whatever was said to protect somebody very important to this King of Swords. So in other words, they could have been defending another person's honor, right? Or their reputation. Hello, Santiago. How are you doing? Hello, Joy. How's your day? What else do we have? We have Justice and the Chariot. A wrong is unredressed when retribution overtakes its redresser. It is equally unrepressed when the avenger fails to make himself felt as such to him who has done the wrong. So there's unfinished business, and that's why we have this argument happening. You know, apparently you still feel like you need to insult this person, even though we thought that this matter was closed and over. Or, you know, you just keep trying to find a way to make things more antagonistic than it needs to be. Because, of course, we have, like, you know, the skull with a bear inside of it, right? We've got, as soon as the balloon quits the earth, it is subjected to the influence of many circumstances, tending to create a difference in its weight, augmenting or diminishing its ascending power. So this is something that I feel the King of Swords is normally able to maintain or keep, you know, kind of quiet, right? You all maybe argue because you're a family and I married into it, and, you know, I have to, like, kind of respect that this is your house. You're going to say what you're going to say. But then it gets to a certain point and it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to defend my partner. Now I'm going to defend my spouse, or now I'm going to defend myself, right? Choosing to say the thing that most people are expecting this person to not say, the King of Swords. Mine's going well. Thank you, Joy. So this would be a general reading. If it resonates, take that which does resonate. But of course, because it's a general reading, it might not be all of it. We have the World and the Page of Candles, which is the Page of Wands. On the World, it says, "Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream?" There's an illusion that someone has created, and I'm kind of feeling like it's a family that builds up and supports someone who hasn't really achieved or accomplished very much. So we could have an entitled or like favorite child. But we could also have somebody who is toxic or unwilling to deal with accountability. There's just this perception and reality and reputation. It's like they're all colliding, right? What is it that we really know about somebody, or what is it that is worth saying to a group of people if nobody else has the cojones to say it, right? If I can only get a good look at them, I can soon tell who they are. I feel like this is someone who's married into a family, sees that there's, some toxic energy here. Normally, just kind of, live or let live. Let's just not get into an argument if we don't have to. But then if you take it too far and this person is, interested in being a protector or defensive of this person they care about, then it's like, okay, well then I'm just going to tell it like it is. And maybe nobody else would, but I think you're just being a jerk. I think they say it a little bit ruder than that, but Hello, Cynthia. How are you doing? Hello, Syed. How are you? Hello, Illuminado. Hello, I am. How are you doing? We've got the Ace of Swords in the reverse. The King of Wands in the reverse and the Four of Wands. Yeah, I do feel like this is someone who's married into a family. They feel like someone is trying to say another person is the problem or avoid accountability for their own actions. And this person's willing to, put their foot down and say, actually, I'm pretty sure you were the problem. Actually, I'm pretty sure you could have handled this differently. Or you're remembering that wrong, or here are some receipts. I actually have like the text messages right here. So, a little bit of like a whistleblowing moment, but it feels like it's within a family. It could be within a small company, right? This is what you said happened, or this is what you claim. This is how you want everyone to believe it, but I'm going to stop you right there because you're wrong. You're misleading people. We have the Queen of Swords. This would be the person who came out as the King of Swords at the beginning. I'm going to stop you. Whatever you're saying is wrong. I feel like you're misleading people. I know what really happened, what really caused that argument or that problem or, delay, whatever it might be. And it was because you were not handling things properly, or you lost your temper. You felt like it was okay to do X, Y, or Z. So we have the Six of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Magician. The King of Wands in the reverse is frustrated because they're getting called out, right? Whatever their version of events are or however they want people to see things, it's not working out. Even though they felt like they were able to kind of approach this strategically and make sure that they would get the important people on their side, it is no match for what they're up against with this King of Swords, Queen of Swords individual. They didn't expect anyone to speak up, basically. Hello, Ricky. How are you doing? This is just a general reading. No astrological signs specifically called out unless the energy is super present. I have said Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra seems pretty heavy in this reading, however. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Page of Swords. Two of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Six of Cups. So I know you have a close connection to this person. Maybe it's like your family. But this King of Swords says, I'm not going to just let that behavior go unnoticed. I think we need to talk about the fact that you think it's okay to not show respect, or, to show up 3 hours late, or, bring someone when you don't have a +1, whatever the like faux pas is, whatever the you're trying to make someone look bad kind of thing is. And this is the King of Swords saying, no, this person has been kind, or this person has done right by you. So let's not try to put that instability or that problem at someone else's feet when you were responsible, or when something else was responsible. All right, let's see what else we've got with the Bianco Nero. I hope you have a good day too, Joy. It's just how it is sometimes. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing? Thank you, Robert. Hello, Ruhio. How's your day? We've got the Queen of Cups and the Three of Cups with the Empress. Quite a lot of loving and compassionate energy. And it feels to me like this is the individual that is being talked about by the King of Swords / Queen of Swords and the King of Wands in the reverse. So the person who's being defended, right? Does not have to be a woman, nor do the King of Wands in the reverse or the King of Swords have to be a man. We already have the Queen of Swords, right? So this little argument happens because the King of Swords is defending the Empress or Queen of Cups in a group setting. So this three of Cups could be social. I think for the majority of you, it is family. What else do we have? We have the Eight of Wands in the reverse. Two of Wands in the reverse. So somebody who says something without really thinking about it. This would be our King of Wands in the reverse. I do feel like there's strategy in how they approach trying to impact another person's reputation, but what they fail to think about before they do what they're supposed to, or what they, probably should have thought more about. It feels to me like what they do basically is think about what they want instead of who could potentially know the other information, who could potentially know this is a lie, or who could potentially call me out for this, right? It's just kind of a flippant like, oh, this is, because of this person's fault. Seven of Pentacles in the reverse and the Nine of Wands in the reverse. This is what makes them vulnerable to the King of Swords saying, okay, that's enough. You know what? I think we need to have a chat. That's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Hello, Stephanie. How are you doing today? Thank you for the tip. I've got that written down, or at least mostly. F's feelings. I got that for you. All right. Let's get a few from the Soul Cat Tarot. What else do we have? We have the Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Now, it's real interesting to get two aces. There's only 4 out of 78 cards. So to pull 2 and both of them be aces, I would say is a bit remarkable. And this is, to me, indicating that we have somebody that is talking about you in regards to your relationships or your love, maybe even how you connect to people. But there is, with the Ace of Pentacles, it's like there are people who see what's going on. Most specifically would be the King of Swords, right? So when this King of Wands in the reverse decides to say something disparaging or tries to make it sound like you're the person at fault, your defender, the King of Swords, is quick to note, oh, but remember when you did this? Or, oh, didn't you do that? Or, I feel like I saw you mess that up yesterday. It's a very quick response, and it, I think, puts this King of Wands in the reverse in a situation where they don't really know what to say and they don't know how to cover the fact that they just lied. So we have the Devil. They feel exposed, that somebody has shown that their motivations or intentions are really just to make someone look bad. So we have the Hanged Cat. So instead of being informative or telling me what's going on, you were really just trying to take that opportunity to control how somebody feels about another person. Hello, Beck. How are you doing? Or is it Becky? Hello, Charlie. Hello, Kashara. So we've got the Four of Cups in the reverse. Even though they would like this person, probably you, to feel rejected. The King of Wands in the reverse is unable to impact this reputation the way that they wanted to, in part or in large part because this King of Swords speaks up and says, oh, that's weird. That doesn't align with what we already know, or that's not what I saw, that's not what I heard. Being challenged makes a lot of people run away, you know. I guess what I mean to say is when people don't have a very good strategy, or when they are trying to create an illusion and you push back a little bit, it'll be interesting because some people who are a little bit more novice or a little bit less arrogant, they may just like kind of run away or ghost or change the subject, not really know what to do. Maybe the more advanced would be like doubling down on it, right? So we have settling, accepting less than you deserve, and confined, feeling trapped in this connection. This like family obligation or this social connection is feeling like more work than anything else. I have to keep track of what you say. I have to, you know, defend myself, or, you know, I don't feel like I can trust you around, I don't know, my TV. Whatever it is, you're just like, I just don't feel like this is a good thing for me to be investing my time in. So I do feel like for many of you, this is family. I don't think I want to be as connected to you, or maybe I have to go low or no contact because you make things more difficult, and maybe in the future we'd be able to come back around and find a way to make this right or resolve this, right? This is the Cook Tarot, or Cook's Tarot. Paralyzing. Cook's Tarot. Hello, Lemonade. How are you doing? Hello, Melissa. What's going on? All right. What else do we have? We've got the Two of Swords and the Eight of Wands. Someone who says what everybody else has been pretending they don't see or has not felt comfortable saying. Now all of a sudden, notice that we have matches here for the Eight of Wands. That aligns with the Five of Wands, right? We're going to take something and make it a little bit more exciting by telling the truth and calling this person out instead of just like kind of smiling and nodding and letting this person think that we believe them or that their information is accurate. So this King of Swords is like, okay, that's directly conflicting what I know. So let's just compare notes. What is it that you know? What is it that I know? And what is the gap between those two? Because then we know what isn't true, right? But the Devil, or the, what was it, King of Wands in the reverse, the person who's lying about the situation or trying to start a fight, this is someone who has underestimated what you are capable of doing or how you approach these kinds of conversations. That's why I feel like this is someone who's married into the family, who's like defending their partner, or it could be like a long-term relationship, right? It doesn't have to be marriage, but it's like, no, I'm gonna like make sure that you're not being unfair to this person. Maybe you've been able to get away with this for a while. Maybe you're like the favorite kid or something, but I'm gonna call you out. So it kind of puts this person in a difficult situation where they don't really know how they're supposed to walk it back or explain the gap in reality and what they said was reality. Hello, Rocky. How are you doing? What else do we have? We have the Seven of Wands in the reverse and the Queen of Swords. This is our King of Swords, Queen of Swords energy, right? So this is someone who feels like now is as good a time as any. I'm just going to go ahead and call out this person since nobody else is going to say it. I'm going to use that as a segue. You brought it up, you know? If you've ever been in a, you know, public or semi-public, right? Multiple people having a conversation, maybe like a business meeting, right? And someone starts the conversation with, well, if no one else is going to say it, I might as well say it. Or, you know, starts off by apologizing if there's anyone who's offended, but it needs to be said. This is somebody who's like, well, yeah, you're probably not going to like this, but I'm going to tell you what I know, and it's the truth, and it conflicts with what you just said. So then we have people who know what is to be believed. I do think that this King of Swords, Queen of Swords has a reputation for being honest. So when they question whatever the King of Wands in the reverse says, probably in anger, I think there's probably, even if it's family, that, you know, this person married into their family, I feel like they believe this Queen of Swords, King of Swords. And with the Tower in the reverse and the Knight of Wands, it's like I'm trying to avoid things getting worse because this person doesn't want to be held accountable, doesn't want to like resolve the actual situation. If they're just stirring the pot, then I'm gonna steal the wooden spoon. You know, like, let's just pretend that that's a wooden spoon, okay? It's like, no, you know what? You want to cause drama, or you want to make it seem like someone else is the problem, or you don't want to like talk about what really happened or what you actually said. Let's make things an even playing ground here. So we've got the Six of Wands and the the Page of Swords. The truth is shared. Here's some notes, here's some receipts, or here's the picture, whatever, the screenshot. And you can see that this person is trying to make it seem more serious than it actually is. So this family argument gets a little bit more complex, or perhaps just a little bit easier to understand because the illusion is exposed by someone who is a lover or romantic love interest or even a spouse of one of the family members. Knight of Cups. Someone coming to another person's rescue or aid, you know? You're trying to blame that sibling of yours on the garbage not getting taken out on time, but you know what? They did do it, or, you know, you said you would do it. There's this clarification that makes their illusion fall apart, and now all of a sudden they look like they're just lying and trying to make someone else look like a... I can't say that. All right, let's see what else we have. We're going to go with the Fairy Lenormand. Hey, James, how are you doing? I didn't see that before I reached for the Lenormand. That's kind of funny. All right, what do we have? We have number 12. Of course we do. Communication, the birds. This is, you know, maybe a little bit of gossip. Probably what was going on with the King of Wands in the reverse, saying something untrue about the Empress, Queen of Cups person. We could have some breakup or some ending, maybe even some individual who passed away. My condolences if that's true. But I feel like the Queen of Cups is being talked about by this King of Wands in the reverse in a way to make it seem like they were problematic, or they should have known better, or they should have, you know, said something different. And that's when this King of Swords comes to their defense. So we have the Sun and the Stork. I do feel like this is a really important moment for the Empress or the Queen of Cups, who is defended by the King of Swords, because this is a family dynamic that I think they've dealt with for a long time, where they don't tend to get the support or the defense that they deserve when there is like them versus another. It could be sibling rivalry, right? So it's a very wholesome, happy moment for this person. Recognizing that there's someone who wants to make sure that their name is spoken of in at least an honest way. It doesn't always have to be a flattering way, but if you're gonna be mean about it, make it because, you know, I earned it, right? This is the Gilded Reverie. What else do we have? We shall see, it's true. What else do we have? Wow. So this is an extended Lenormand, right? We have another coffin coming out. Not technically in this one, it's a sarcophagus. And then we have the garden. So this could be conversation happening at a funeral. This could be conversation happening about a divorce within, the family unit, maybe talking about why there's been a divorce or why there's been this change or why somebody has quit their job. And if it has been somebody passing away, again, my condolences. This ending is what people are talking about, and oh, you should have done this, or you should have said that, or, I'm pretty sure this was the problem. We do have flowers, and we do have the wishing well. We could have some anger amongst family members who are talking about an inheritance or an estate. Feeling like somebody has gotten more than their fair share, or just pure jealousy over who gets access to a home or access to liquid assets. This is not very kind in a moment where someone should be probably much more civil or loving. I do feel like this could be about an inheritance. So we have the bouquet, the ship, and the scythe. This is indicating that there is something here about being reverent or focusing on, what is really going on. But being a little bit out of your comfort zone, traveling for something, and acknowledging that there's someone here who has very toxic behavior that maybe it makes sense to walk away from, right? Hello, Justin. How are you doing? I'm sorry to hear that. So we have a compass, and I do feel like this is talking about somebody trying to figure out what you're going to do with something that they feel like they should have a say in. Maybe it is an inheritance, right? All right, this is the situations deck. What else do we have? We have the entrapment card. Money. This is about money. Money that somebody is expecting in the future. So this keeps pointing to an inheritance. But because we have somebody who is focused on what they want out of the situation, and because we might have somebody that is maybe even trying to provide for a partner, we have a lot of emotions being dealt with. This unconditional love, I feel, is from the person who may have passed away, expressing their gratitude towards a family member that was there for them. And then we have this person who's probably a lover or spouse who's defending that person for this money that they might inherit. We've got waves, emotions coming and going. Anxiety, scared, panic. Alien, telepathy, dreams, songs, and roller coaster. Highest high and adrenaline rush. So we have someone who did not expect to inherit something that they have, or someone who did not expect things to go as well as they're going to, but it is a source of anxiety because it's like now there's an argument here because of this competitive energy between two people, could be siblings, right? Or because we've got somebody who just plain wants what you're going to get or what you have, right? Hello, Matt. How are you doing? Hello, Bitchy Tata. What's up? Did I say hello to Rachel? I hope so. Hello, Trenton. How are you doing? As long as you can be respectful and tolerant, we'll make sure that there's no issue there. So we've got settlement, agreement, compromise. This is someone who wants to come up with a new agreement or like edit, probably a last will and testament. Someone who feels like there should be a different resolution or choice regarding that property or those assets. This is the Gypsy Oracle. And after this, we'll move on to the personal questions. Hello, Jespu. How are you doing? Hello, Terry. We've got the young woman in the reverse and the house. Yeah, I feel like this is someone who has property that has been, you know, part of an inheritance and probably given to somebody that people did not expect it would go to, based on who was actually caring, or, you know, maybe based on who was actually there and around this person. So another individual is upset because they feel like this was something that was supposed to help them financially. With the prison, they feel stuck, I think, by financial issues, right? Because we had that entrapment card. Seeing that this gift or this high value item is going to somebody else. It could be property. They wanted to be able to sell this property and make the money off of it, whereas it could be whoever is actually inheriting this house would appreciate it and want to renovate it or keep it in the family, that kind of thing. So there could be reasons, multiple reasons why the inheritance went the way that it did, but it does seem to me like it has surprised a few people that there was someone else who is expected to get that property or those assets. All right, let's switch over to personal questions. We've got Stephanie with, what are F's feelings towards me? What are F's feelings towards Stephanie right now, please? Hello, Alvin. How are you doing? Two of Swords and the Empress. Feeling like there's a decision that needs to be made. Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. Strength. And King of Pentacles, King of Wands. Interesting. Okay, so this is like, maybe I need to do something to avoid losing an opportunity here. Contemplating what the kind of bold move would be with the Strength and the King of Wands towards potentially a relationship here. Making sure that things are, I don't know, improved upon. Nine of Swords in the reverse, a focus on resolving or like recovering after a difficult situation. Hermit, learning lessons after making a mistake with the Justice in the reverse. So how can I improve upon the situation, avoid a loss, and communicate in a way that makes it clear that I've learned from what happened, that I'm not going to repeat that behavior, and that what I really want is a relationship, right? So a little bit more hopeful energy, I would say. All right. Let's see. Yes, thank you, Lemonade. I appreciate that. For Becky, my apologies, and I'm sorry to hear that. What do we have for Becky as far as what should be done? We have the Two of Wands in the reverse, the King of Swords, Ace of Cups, Nine of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. This is primarily about making sure that you are able to find a way to do what you need to do to get the mental health assistance or the therapy that you might need. With the Ace of Cups, this would be about like self-care or doing what can, you know, provide comfort, but also remembering that you need to be able to establish like a pretty solid foundation as far as job or financial security. So those seem to be the two focuses or foci that are coming through. With the King of Swords, I feel like this is your energy, even though there are things that you do not have control over. You do have some power over how you react or how you move forward. And it feels to me like right now you may need just a little bit of a confidence boost. We've got the Lovers in the reverse and the Seven of Swords. There's a concern that you're not going to actually make a decision when you need to make a decision. The example coming through in my mind is if you get accepted into a school or you get like a job offer, but it requires a lot of change and it's a little intimidating, you may kind of just sit and, you know, look around and not make any decision when you really do need to be doing something quickly and choosing to move forward with that opportunity. So if there is an opportunity that seems like a good fit, do what you can to, get your ducks in a row and move forward with that, because I do feel like there are opportunities crossing your path. You have the Chariot, Strength in the reverse, and Justice. It may feel like you're a marathon runner who's crossing, over the finish line, and you have that last like 10 feet to go or whatever. But this is indicating you have that strength. You just maybe don't realize how much that you have, and it will enable you to get some sort of realignment after things have been super chaotic. So, all right, I hope that helps, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes, and I'll see you on the next video.